This is K.M. Weiland, and you are listening to the 52nd episode of the Wordplay Podcast. Despite all its stereotypes of starving artists suffering for their work, writing is actually a pretty cushy job in a lot of respects. Think about it. In what other line of work do you get to sit around reading the latest bestseller and call it research? Or stare out the window daydreaming and call it work? And there's not too many jobs where you can get away with wearing your fluffy blue slippers to work. Getting up every morning and knowing that somewhere in the day ahead you're going to get to do the thing you love most is a hard gig to beat, isn't it? Help readers keep your characters straight. The latest post in the video series on my blog suggests some remedies to the common pitfalls of confusion that befall readers who are muddled by your large casts of characters. You can watch the video on my blog at wordplay-kmweiland, that's weiland.blogspot.com. New videos are posted every Wednesday. Meanwhile, enjoy this week's podcast, 8 Ways to Free Your Muse with Longhand Writing. Whenever I crack open a hefty volume of Dickens, I'm inevitably overwhelmed by the realization that this entire 800-page novel was written by hand. The writer's bump on my middle finger throbs just thinking about it. Our technologic additions are a decided blessing. But we've also lost some things along the road to the future. We've amped up distractions and made it far too easy to stifle creativity by editing and tweaking before a thought is even half formed. Returning to the caveman technology of pen and paper can have a surprisingly freeing effect on our muses. Although I write my first drafts on the computer, I've learned to free my imagination in the first rush of creation by writing my outlines longhand in a notebook. In the process, I've gained a number of benefits. 1. Writing longhand discourages the tendency to censor or edit. Removing the temptation to glance up at a previous paragraph and switch out words and phrases allows my raw thoughts to flow onto the page. I don't judge them, I don't edit them, I don't censor them. I just pour them out. 2. Writing longhand brings writing down to a primal level. There's something about the tactile experience of ink on paper that is inimitable. It presents a return to writing in a purer, more instinctive form, without the intercession of complicated electric tools. 3. Writing longhand removes us from our notes. Moving our writing away from the computer also means removing ourselves from our notes. Instead of relying on scraps of inspiration, we're able to produce what the story needs as it needs it from our well of subconscious. The results are often startlingly cohesive and powerful. 4. Writing longhand provides a change of pace. When we're stumped by a tough story problem, or even general burnout, changing our location and our methods can sometimes be just the trick for jump-starting our creativity. 5. Writing longhand frees imagination by allowing sloppiness. Something about the near illegibility of my handwriting seems to break down my need for protection. Instead of toiling over word choice, I'm able to dash down my thoughts as quickly as they come to me. I find this particularly vital in the early creative stages. 6. Writing longhand frees us from distractions. Unlike the computer, pen and paper physically remove us from the computer and all its distractions, including the siren song of the internet. 7. Writing longhand allows a critical editing during transcription. The necessity of transcribing our notes onto the computer allows us the opportunity to apply a critical eye to what we've written, once the first rush of creativity is past. 8. Writing longhand gives us an instant hard copy. Unless your house burns down, your handwritten hard copies aren't likely to randomly self-destruct, as computer files are known to do. Even if you lose your notes after you've typed them up, you'll always have a hard copy as backup. I love my technology. I love typing. I love the clean look of my Times New Roman letters appearing on the virginal white of my screen. Sometimes I even love that taunting blink of the cursor. But writing longhand is an invaluable technique my writing would suffer without. In a recent Writer's Digest article, freelance author Dick Dickinson agreed. In today's stream of consciousness world of email, text, Facebook, and Twitter, initials become sentences, and words take flight before thoughts are well formed. What to do? Well, are you ready to turn the clock back, a few centuries? To hone concentration and put consideration back into your writing, and for a striking change of pace, try using a pen. Consider the advantages. There is no insert, spell check, cut and paste, or delete. Just your words drawn on paper with an ancient technique. Thank you for listening to the Wordplay Podcast. To read a transcript of this episode, visit me on the web at wordplay-kmwyland, that's weiland.blogspot.com, and be sure to listen again next week.